One, two, three, go. Let's do it. All right. Better late than never. Okay. We're kind of a crazy time of the year for me. So you're going to see maybe a little bit of infrequency as far as the uploads for the PCMR specifically. The Monday market report will still go down as scheduled, either a Sunday night or sometime on Monday. But I guess better late than never. So this is the Pocket Change market report for December 7th, 2023. We are going to take a look at the last 24 to 48 hours of known eBay completed sales of some of the coins that we could find out in the circulation, and also at the coin shops and shows. These represent your best chances of finding what is essentially gold in your pocket change. And I know a lot of people that they coin roll hunt, and they are incredibly active with doing things like that. In case you don't know, that's the art of going to the bank, picking up bank rolls, and simply searching through it. It's a great way for, at face value, to kind of get a shot at finding some of these coins. And I will tell you that even today, there are coins bearing the 2023 date that are quite relevant. Will we have any of it on today's show? As anybody's guess. I've seen some crazier things, but rest assured, you're going to find some pretty nice coins on the list here. Now, of course, it's not only about selling, but also adding to your collection too. So it's a great way to do that as well. So we're going to look at mint errors. We're going to look at die varieties. We're even going to look at maybe some specific key dates that aren't graded at all. And that's my next point to this whole thing, is that all the coins are raw, ungraded. You don't need to spend the extra money to grade any of these coins if you can diagnose that error, or you could correctly attribute a variety. And there's a ton of them. Check out some of those websites like Variety Vista, coppercoins.com for Lincoln Cents. There's just a myriad of different types of resources that we can leverage to find out more of what can be hiding in our change at all times. The results is quite staggering. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of varieties in some of the coins that we touch every day. So yeah, be sure that you know that you don't need to grade any of these coins. That's the great news, because they're still going to sell for a fair amount of market value. What else? Well, the pictures you're going to see here today are all original to the respective sellers' listings. We didn't juice or doctor anything to make any of the photos look better. So you're simply going to get the best and the worst photos that these folks throw out there on their listings. The good news is you're going to know where that low bar is set. So if you think your picture taking ability isn't quite up to professional standards, it's okay. You're going to know what you need to do, and you never know. You might even get a little bit of a lesson out of this here today. So, as we go on through our video here, I wanted to take a moment to shout out Tempo Crazed, one of the newest and up-and-coming YouTube stars out there in the numismatic industry. And I would encourage you guys to go check out Tempo. He's a great person and incredible content. For only being on YouTube for a short while, a few months. Already got 581 subscribers, 172 videos, so there's already content there for you to peruse over. But go ahead and check out Tempo Crazed. He's going to like it. Don't forget to hit that sub button and check out all of his videos. All right, well, we are coming close to the end of 2023, and that also includes my involvement on Whatnot. All right, now this is more of my choice, but we have two active streams for the rest of the year, and then I'm taking a little bit of a break, and I would encourage you guys probably do the same as well. As we all know, Whatnot is a tremendous platform. It's one of my favorite to sell coins, but also buying coins too. And check this out. We have one show coming up on Tuesday, December 12th. Now, there's no Friday show this week. I thought about adding one, but decided, I'm just going to, hold off on doing anything on Friday. And then we're going to come back and double down on Tuesday in an event that we like to call let's go ahead and fill up those stockings. If you got gift ideas and you're looking for possibly a coin for, a loved one, a friend of yours that's in the hobby, or maybe even treating yourself, then you might be at the right place. All the listings start at $1, and then they sell for whatever the outcome is at the end of every single lot. Again, that's at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. But also equally important is that we have the BlueRidgeSilverhound Holiday Giveaway Special coming up next Friday. That's a week from tomorrow, December 15th at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern. Good news, there's nothing to buy. It's all 100% giveaways. So go ahead and check that out. It's going to be a lot of fun, and there's going to be 35 to 40 lots. Okay, that's quite a bit of inventory to let loose unto the coin collecting populace, and it's my way of giving back. All right, so go ahead and check that out. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and sign up. It's easy, and if you need a little assistance, I have my referral link down below in the description box. When you sign up under my link, you get $15 in reusable credit to use right away, as long as you're a new signer. So go ahead and check that out, and thank you to all of my existing support folks that are already having fun on the platform. All right, let's go ahead and jump right in. This is some of the coins that did sell here. Very active right now. So, we're probably coming up toward the tail end of the busy time of the holiday schedule. Usually when we get within about a week from Christmas, things kind of die down a little bit in the error and variety marketplace. The PCMR probably will end up being a little bit lighter than normal, going through the holidays, and that's okay. That's to be expected. But if you're looking to make some money, if you got some inventory that you want to flip and get rid of, kind of thin things down a little bit, nothing wrong with thinning the herd, then now might be the right time. You'll still have time to get in like a good suitable 5-day auction, send it out, and get them delivered by Christmas. And that's kind of like the timing of this whole thing. 1964 Lincoln Memorial Cent. This one is slightly off center, and it also looks like it's got a partial tilted collar as well. You'll notice kind of like that stepped rim deal, most notable on the reverse of the coin. And this is an out of collar strike. The collar probably malfunctioned. It wasn't working properly. And by the way, the collar on the mid press keeps the coin in place during the strike. It is in itself a die, all right? Much like, the obverse and the reverse dies that are on the presses that provide the imagery that we see on the coins. The collar, is just there to keep things together. And when it's not there, some pretty crazy things happen. So this one right here sold for $18.51 with 14 bids. The next one that we have here from the same seller is the 1963D Lincoln Memorial Cent. This one has a couple sheet clips on there, one really prominent curved clip and a little shallow one over the word God there on the obverse. So another decent looking one. The black residue that you see actually is original mint grease that's still on the coin. You want to try and avoid cleaning that at all. We know in the error community, we know what that is. And that kind of helps with the originality. Plus the coin isn't touched on the face of the coin, which is good. And it's pretty neat to see that on there. This particular one right here, not a big sale because it's clips that we're talking about. It did sell for $7.10 with 7 bids this time around. This is considered like a low-end error type in the coin collecting hobby of sorts. All right, the next one that we have here, much like the first coin that we looked at, as a matter of fact, it's pretty gosh darn identical as far as the type of error it is. 1996P Washington quarter, slightly off-center struck. But again, we're seeing that partial tilted collar there, which is prominent on the reverse. You can see the little step, that little flat area, and then the bulge there for the cupping of that off-center strike. The coin has a few little scrapes on the obverse, so it's not the perfect coin, but still a pretty neat find here, which obviously looks like it's circulated a little bit. This one sold for $35 on eBay. And coming up next, we actually have a decent-looking 1998 Lincoln Memorial cent. So quick little market update on a coin that is really easy to find. You can find this on 98, 99, and 2000. The 98 and 2000 dated coins are the more readily available to find out there. If you go through a box of Lincoln cents, chances are you're going to come across one of these. They're that common. But this is the wide AM reverse. The U.S. Mint inadvertently used some proof dies on the strikes of the business strike coins. So there's a little bit of a design variance from the business strike die to the proof dies. And what that is that there's a little bit more of a gap between the A and M in America, as we see here. Not too bad of a coin. It does have a few light carbon spots, which isn't too distracting. This coin sold for $10 here in the last day or so. All right, I forgot how popular China and Japanese coins are. Just in general, China, any sort of occupational coinage is hot right now. And a lot of it is much older stuff. I would say probably pre-1930. There's a lot going on here. This is actually a 1914 10 cents. And as you can tell, it struck off center, probably by about 30%. And this is an incredibly relevant coin in the marketplace. You'll notice, first of all, it's not graded. We know what this is. And it's China. So it's a country that we don't encounter with a lot of mint type errors, which makes this one incredibly cool. This one ended up selling for a staggering sum, $234.50 with 21 bids. It just kind of goes to show you how crazy some of these Chinese coins can get with a little bit of a mint error action on there. In contrast, this one is not as crazy, but hey, it's a statehood quarter that's slightly broad struck. Nothing too crazy, but it's there. It's a 2000D Massachusetts state quarter. Slightly broad struck, like I said, due to the thickening of the rim there. So yeah, I mean, these are collected by state. A lot of folks are looking for either off-center strikes or full sets. Some of them are a lot more challenging than others. This one right here ended up selling for $25.38. If you think this is a joke, man, $25 for this thing? Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the hobby that we're in right now. There's a lot of different directions that people take to have fulfillment in this particular hobby, and this is yet another one, and people are opening up their wallets, so make sure you're aware of that. This one's gonna deserve a little bit of a talking point today. This is a 2023D, one of actually the final, if I'm not mistaken, American Women Quarter of the year, the Hovita Adar quarter. Actually, I think there was one more after this, but anyways, the seller had put this on eBay with something called a strike ring error. And it sold relatively quickly, too. It didn't take long, but maybe a day or so. It sold for $15, okay? And this is a common occurrence that we find on occasion on certain coins. It could be a Lincoln cent, it could be a nickel, a dime, a quarter, $half, you name it. And on this particular case, it actually looks neat, but unfortunately, this is damage. They call this counter wheel damage. So as these coins are being packed into the paper tubes, and then they're subsequently crimped, there's a little finger that helps with the crimping action that actually makes contact with the coin as it's spinning the crimp around the edge. And this is the byproduct of that. I mean, it looks neat. It throws you for a little bit of a curve when you come across it, but just know that this is a post-mint damage event. And in hindsight, they have no real value. So $15 is safe if the person that bought it with the possibility that it might become like an educational tool. But outside of that, you're going to have a really tough time trying to sell this one back into the market. All right, we have a 2-pack of 1970D Lincoln Memorial cents. Each one struck off-center, anywhere from about 60-65% off-center on both coins. They both feature full readable dates and mint marks. And again, that's most relevant to these particular coins and these errors, as you want to know what date it is on there. Again, these are collected by dates, so that's a very important part of it. So when we look at the reverse, the coins are in pretty nice shape. I would imagine that you could probably pick this up and sell them individually. You're not going to make a whole lot of money. And it's not bulky enough of a lot to where it might be equitable, to resell. So in any event, this 2-coin lot sold for $43.97, putting them at about $22 a piece. And I want to say 1970D Lincolns that are this off-center are actually one of the more common dates, unfortunately. So $22 a piece is on par to what the market is today. So there's not a whole lot of room to make a lot of money here. So make sure you do your research as you go and figure out some of the lots that you come across. And make sure that you have a certain spending limit that's suitable to you. So that way, if you're a reseller, you'll know where your cost is at, and it'll give you kind of the opportunity to price these accordingly. So that way you have like a 30% margin, which again, that's where you need to be kind of helpful and healthy in the reselling game. All right, much like the Lincoln cent that we saw at coin number 2, we have a 1989D Jefferson nickel with 2 clips. All right, 2 more clips on this one. This one is in really nice shape. Nice mint state example. Probably was pulled out of a BU roll. Could be. This one right here ended up selling for $18.38, which is a fair amount of cash. But I do know that the more clips are on the coin, usually they max out around 3, the more they're worth. All right, and this one is problem free, so that's another bonus there on that. We do have another off-center struck Lincoln cent. Now, before we get too out of hand here, I just want to say that yes, you probably won't find any of these in a roll, but understand that these do circulate, like this one here. This one has seen circulation wear. And it probably attempted through a coin counter. There's a little bit of a rim issue there on the reverse at about, 5 o'clock there when we're looking at that picture. It's a 1968D. It's off-center by about 80%. This one's pretty crazy. And I'm happy to say that this one ended up selling for $45.25. I've seen other 68Ds on the marketplace, and they tend to go from like $25 to $50. The one big X factor is how far is it off center, and do you have a full readable date and mint mark? And this kind of hits both points. All right, so this is crazy. I mean, if you put it out there that this coin is machine doubling, you'd be surprised. These things still sell for a lot of money. Now, we're all familiar with the 1969S Lincoln cent. It's the coin that you want to find with the famous doubled die obverse, the FS101. It is incredibly crazy doubled. And because of that, nice looking examples sell for $10,000, $15,000 and up, depending on grade. Now, in this particular case, this one is not the FS101. However, it's a very common date for machine doubling. Now, check out the strong machine doubling on the date, the mint mark, and Liberty on this one. This is a type of damage that results in what they call slide doubling. So the coin is struck, Just due to wear and tear. There's a little bit of play in the die, the obverse die, and as it ejects from the strike, there's a little micro millisecond in time where the die actually shifts a little bit and then actually damages into the devices that were struck during that process. So that's how you get things like this. Now, keep in mind, with machine doubling, you actually lose some of the devices. Okay, it actually cuts into the date and the individual numbers, the letters, things like that. It'll all appear very skinny, but you're going to notice that on machine doubling, you're also going to have the flat shelf-like features of the doubling, whereas on a true hub double die, you're not going to get that. It actually adds thickness to the doubling. So with that being said, you would be surprised. This one's still sold for $44 with 25 bits. I no longer say that I personally condone the sale of these type of coins, but there is kind of a hidden market for these. And as long as that's there and people are bidding on these things, depending on how dramatic they are, rest assured, there's going to be some interest and people are going to pay what they're worth. So keep that in mind. Do not be discouraged if you think you're not finding anything, because this is a common event on the 69S Lincoln. We also have a 2001 P Jefferson nickel. This one's particularly cool. It's got a retained cut die break at the base of Jefferson's bust, and you can actually see it right here. We have a full picture of the obverse and then a picture of the 2x2 and the coin. And it even has a little bit of an arrow with a blurb, retained cut die break right on there. So that is, again, just through wear and tear. Part of the die had cracked. Probably hadn't fallen out yet because it's still striking up some of the devices. But you can totally tell that it's fractured. And it's just going to be a matter of time before it falls out. Or until, a Mint employee recognizes that, the die is, beyond repair. They call it terminal damage. And then they'll just remove it, replace it with a new die, and then continue on with the process. So this one is quite neat, and it's a late enough date that it certainly catches your attention. And I'm not even sure, and I did not check, if this one is listed in cudsoncoins.com, which is the authoritative source for cuds and die breaks and chips and dips and all that stuff. So this one, ladies and gentlemen, sold for $38.88 with 2 total bits. What a wild sale. We don't normally see that on these type of coins that are, just 20 years old, but it's cool to see a byproduct of the wear and tear idea of mid presses and machinery. This is just a straight up beast. 1858 over 7 Flying Eagle cent. Wow. From our good old boy Coins and Cards here, it never ceases to amaze that he constantly puts up some of the most incredible looking coins. And they're all generally raw too. He doesn't grade. If he believes it, then he could just sell it the way it is. So the coin looks like it's been cleaned. I will say that. A light cleaning. It's more evident on the reverse. But let's go ahead and take a look at that overdate. This is one of the big ones here. So on this particular coin, you can see the curve of the 7 that's in the little circular openings of the 8. And then usually there's like a little tail here, and this one does have it, of the 7. So, 1858 is the one date of Flying Eagle. That's quite common. But, definitely you need to look for this. And, this will even have the raised little die areas here as kind of like one of the markers to look for. This one sold for $990.49, or $990 with 49 bits. Man, I almost dropped the ball on that one. But yeah, that's a pretty big coin, and that's one, guys, that you could cherry pick. This one tends to fall through the cracks at dealer tables and coin shops, and in any condition, they're worth quite a bit of money. Well, wow, we're halfway through our show here, and we finally got our first piece of currency, 1995 $1 bill with a very exaggerated misaligned overprint. So you can see things like the district seals and serial numbers shifted to the right some, to where they're overlapping some of the base design. This one right here sold for $55.10. Pretty cool. Again, these are very desired in the currency market today. And you can see on the reverse, pretty nice centered back on there for the most part. It's not a perfect process, but it's well within the BEP's tolerances. All right, so there was a number of what we call two feather buffalo nickels that ended up selling here all within like a minute of each other. I would be willing to guess that every single one of these buy it now listings were purchased by the same individual, possibly getting into collecting these for the first time. So we have a 1919D Buffalo nickel. You can see the third feather, which is generally right here, has been over polished on the die. So when it strikes the coinage, it's going to be just a void. All right, there's going to be nothing there. This one sold for $59. Again, there are certain dates that are more valuable than others. We also have a 29S. This is a tough date. This one's in rough shape. The pitting all throughout the coin indicates that possibly could have been acid dipped at one point. There's a pretty noticeable rim gash on the front of the coin. But it is a two feather, and this one sold for $29.66. We also have a 1917 Philly. This one's a low grade, probably a good 4, somewhere around there. This is another two feather buffalo. There's a number of dates, guys, where you can find this, and they are Cherry Pickers Guide varieties. This one sold for $37.50. And then finally, we also have a 25S as well. All right, this is one of the tougher dates. This is a scarce one here. And another two feather. This one ended up selling for $65. And I would say this one's probably a fine 15. It has about 80% of the horn on black diamond, the buffalo on the reverse. So this one's in pretty decent shape. The kind of like the pasty gray color this one indicates that it probably could have been cleaned. Kind of hard to say if these were taken with like a flatbed scanner. Those generally just dull down the surfaces of any coin picture-wise. So it could be problem-free as well. We also have this 1977 $5 bill. What the heck's going on here? It looks like it's miscut, and probably is. It's not a miscut from a novelty sheet. This one doesn't start with 9s, which is cool. When we look at the back, yeah, it's off center and miscut. All of the above. You can see a part of the next bill on the subject sheet there on the top. You know that there's something crazy here. This one sold for $60.25. Really nice looking note. This one a lot of people were sleeping on. 1897 Indian Head Sand. It's no beauty queen, that's for sure. But it is slightly broad struck. You can see the extra fatness on one side of the coin over the other, and it's evident on the reverse as well. This one sold for $17.49 with 2 bids. This is a coin that customarily sells on the low end at $40, $50, even in this condition. Here's a really pretty 1998 Lincoln Memorial Cent. This is a fully centered broad strike. According to the seller, it's about the size of a nickel, which is a pretty good size. So this is an out-of-collar strike, as we know. We addressed this earlier in the show, and it sold for $28. This is one of the more common dates, by the way, for off-center strikes or broad strikes. Here's a beautiful cud. So like the nickel that we had seen, the 2001 had the retained cud. Once that piece of die finally decides to fall out, and it does, it produces a full cud die break that you see here. So the die piece is gone. During a strike, all of that metal flow goes into that empty cavity, creating a raised blob anomaly that usually starts from the edge of the coin and goes into the design. And that's the theoretical definition of what a cut die break is when it starts from the edge and goes in. This one sold for $26.99. Oh, by the way, that was a quick buy it now listing. This thing was on probably within minutes before it got scooped up. I'd say it undersold by about $10. Nice one here. We have another dual pairing of Lincoln Memorial scents. They're both off center. The 71D, wow, that one's crazy, is off center by about 85%. And then the 77, don't know if it's a Denver or just a Philly. We're going to assume it's Philly just because we can't see a mint mark. It's off center by about 50-55%. And this 2-coin lot sold for $49.99. There's a little bit of the back image of each of the coins. One of them has a full struck reverse. You know that it's the memorial. The other one is a uniface, which means it was probably overlapped on another coin during the strike. Our good old Edith Kanakaole makes another appearance. This is the infamous Strong Clash die that has been a perennial hit, a true all-star in today's, I guess, hunts. And, you know, depending on where you live, you can find a whole bunch of these. Like our friend Kelly's Treasures ended up finding a full bank box of these things and has been raking in the dough, but at the same time giving back to communities in a way of promoting a whatchamacallit, you know, where a percent of the proceeds goes to charity. That's why I meant to say, man, my brain is fried. So this one, again, features that really nice clashing of Edith's first name and Washington's hair on the obverse. This one sold for $46 with 15 bids. Coming up here toward the end of the year, and these things are still flying off of eBay. Well done. 1971S Pruset. Now, this will blow your mind, okay? It's not about the Pruset. It's about one coin in here, and that's the Lincoln cent, ladies and gentlemen. There's something funky going on here. 71S, the seller mentioned that it was possibly re-engraved hair on the working die. And I'm going to tell you, this is pretty crazy. And to make matters worse, this thing, I think, sold for a song. It only ended up selling for $25.94. This one is interesting enough that, you know, it should be looked at by an error attributor. Whoever that's, you know, like Mike Diamond or Ken Potter or, you know, any one of those pros in the business, because this one's very interesting, and me personally, I would love to know more about it. So yeah, pretty cool. You just never know what you're going to find on eBay, and this is one of those things that really left me scratching my head in a good way. Another crazy one right here, 1882 Indian Head Scent. Now, this thing is a marvel. In spite of the carbon spots on the reverse, you got kind of a bad edge there under the date on the front of the coin. This is a well-known misplaced date strike, or misplaced date variety. It's Snow number 6. And you can see there in the beads of Lady Liberty's necklace right there. Yeah, there's some repunching of numbers in there, which normally it's the 1. Back in the day, mint employees used to test out the hardness of certain parts of the die. So they'll take a number punch or a letter punch, and then they'll just punch errantly into, you know, a very crowded spot on the design. In this case, the beads, the denticles, which are the tiny little nubs going all the way around the rim. Things like that. And then, you know, that's normally where we'd see misplaced dates. And you also see them on seated coinage, you know, all sorts of great stuff. This one right here, folks, sold for $190. Okay, very valuable, even though it's a semi-common date, and people love these. Indian Head Scent Variety Collectors is a huge base. Really nice off-center struck 1995 P Roosevelt dime. not something that you see too often. And this one's really nice. It's a very nice Mint State coin, probably pulled out of a Mint Zone Fed Reserve bag. This one is sold for $44.78. And then finally, our last item of this Pocket Change Market Report video comes in the way of a silver certificate. This is a 1957 silver cert. Very nice condition, but check out the serial numbers. You see what I see? We have a little bit of a mismatch here. So one serial number starts out with 55. The other one starts out with 54. All right, and they're supposed to match. Okay, so very well known type of error that is adored by paper money collectors, and they are quite pricey. There's a little bit of an image in the back showing very minimal wear. I mean, we're probably talking about a solid XF condition note here with great paper quality. But anyways, this one sold here in the last day or two for $285. Not too bad. Again, it's not graded. So there you go. Video is for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Please do collect and grade responsibly as you continue to enjoy the hobby. But that's going to go ahead and wrap things up for today. I tell you what, guys, there's still time to carve out a little bit of hunting activities and go out there and enjoy this hobby through all of the buzz and the busy stuff of the holidays. You deserve a little bit of you time. So go ahead and grab a few rolls of coin or go dig into your kids' pocket change or their piggy bank and see if you can find some of this stuff. Because, to a lot of people, it might seem like 1 cent. To a collector, it could be $50. So see it that way. There's a lot of prospect and potential out there. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Thank you guys again. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and all that great stuff. And I will see you guys on the next coin video. So I wish you guys the best of luck in all of your hunting endeavors. So long.